Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tea Time. So today we've got Cynthia Day,
Nicole Ricks,
and
Jessica Bell.
So together, Nicole and I have founded the Trust Builders Network, and we are so excited to continue the expansion of our own personal brands.
I wanted to actually talk to you guys a little bit about that today because part of your expansion is building courses, right?
Yeah.
So how did you guys decide that you wanted to start building a course together?
I don't even think that we even decided to build a
No,
course together.
we
I think, the one thing, about us is that, we do have a lot of experience, and sharing that knowledge and experience would almost be a crime not to do. But I think this grand idea came because we hired a coach that expanded our realm of possibilities so much bigger than where we were currently focused at the time. And so I think that we can attribute that to us just consistently growing and expanding our mindset to the fact that, why don't we create a course around, our knowledge and expertise and years in the business.
So I'm just curious about the coaching portion of it. Like, how did you guys change the way you were thinking, your approach to your business with the coach?
Great question. How did we change our thinking?
Well, first of all, just over the course of having the two different coaches and then bringing both of us together, we really just expanded all sorts of thinking on levels that were on the implementation level, on communication, on imagination. So every level that we were really thinking all just grew and expanded, and that's really how we started with these ideas. We both are very creative people, and we're always pushing for the next level, always want to do the next project. I never have more than 1 million projects going on, and then Cynthia and I now have the exact same thing together. And so we really wanted to have someone that was able to help us facilitate the projects to be the most effective, and also be able to help guide us in certain directions where we didn't know we were going. So that was what the one coach did with the courses, is that we didn't know we were going there. Mm-hmm. We wanted to go there eventually. That was always a thing that we would do eventually. And eventually never happens unless you do it. And so we decided, that's when we were really listening to our coach, we decided to do everything he said do. Mm-hmm. And that's when we decided to do anything with a course, was basically him saying this is our model of a virtual network business, all of these things that we were wanting to create together to really help other people in other areas that we weren't able to physically reach at this time. We could start helping them through the experience that we've already had. And the mindset just took off. From breakthroughs to tearing down limiting beliefs to pushing ourselves farther.
We have evolved, we've grown tremendously, and we've shape-shifted. Our being has shape-shifted. So the way that we think is a result of our being. So that's really, right now, the big thing that our coach has allowed us to step into.
And to really focus on being intentional about it. We're being so intentional about every single day, what books we read, who we listen to, how many times we listen to them, what challenges we take on. And just how much time we spend on a leadership basis as well.
We're really setting up our organization and getting laser focused about who we are, what we stand for, and what makes us unique.
It sounds like you're really focusing on building your specific brand. So for anybody that might be watching this, what would your suggestion be on their own brand building when they're thinking about taking that leap into possibly building their own courses?
Great question. I would definitely say break out the book Traction, work all of the chapters, don't just read it, but put it into practice, and getting clarity about who you are and what you stand for keeps your ball rolling down the lane. You don't go into the gutter. You don't accidentally, roll it into someone else's lane, and you don't go behind you. So really getting laser focused about who you are, what you stand for, what is unique, what are your core values. So your core values are really the things that are your measurables, right? They're your bumpers that you put in the gutters. So these things make sure that your ball stays on the lane. And if it's anything outside of your core values, it's gotta go. Because
or it's not coming in either.
Yeah, it's gotta go or it's not coming in. And so if you get really laser focused about your core values, what makes you unique, what your true mission is, then everything else can just go to the wayside, and literally it's like all guns blazing.
We were really trying to limit our activities because, if you do too many things, you do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really trying to limit the activities to these 3 projects and the objectives we had for those 3 projects, and be consistently intentional every single day on these 3 projects. We even set out time periods that we did, from 10 to 12, it's this type of project. From 12 to 1, it's break time. From 1 to 3, it's this project. And from 3 to 4, it's this project.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we would still work afterwards, but we weren't so structured on, like, we have to focus on this. We can focus on other things afterwards. We can focus on other things before. But during these 2 hours, it was only this. And so it allowed us really to be very intentional. During those hours, we got a lot more done. And then anything that didn't fit, it was just a very disciplined decision to stick to.
So back to the course a little bit. You guys decided to build this course. How did you go about the process? Because I think a lot of people play with this idea of like, I know how to do this, but how do you make the transition of, I'm an expert in this field to, okay, I'm gonna sit down and develop this content. What did that look like for you guys?
Well, for me, it was just, I'm a very process person. I can create a process very well. It takes a lot of discipline to follow the process, but I can create one like nobody's business. So, that part was just sitting down and extracting, each step out of my brain, right? And all of my experience and I guess my street smarts of, doing this for as long as I have. But I think the other thing that we're working on, which is, teaching agents how to create a seller ecosystem, which is more of an innovative process that we are literally creating to solve the problem that, we're having right now in our market, which is a lack of inventory. There are a lot of homeowners that, are deciding that they know that they could sell their home in, like we always say, 3.3 seconds, but then they just don't know where they're going to go after that.
So you kind of had like a problem that was presented to you and you're like, okay,
how do we solve this? Yes, and it was her genius that created this solution that we built upon. So
our genius. The thing is that what you just said was very important, is that when we go down and we make this decision to say, okay, I'm going to create a course, what does that look like? How do you get started?
Yeah.
But also, if I just create a course that's relevant in 2019, how is that going to help people who are in the market working today? It doesn't. I mean, yes, I can put in that course like how to go through the filing system, how to, write a contract, and those types of things are similar to pre-COVID, but 99% of everything post-COVID is different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the terms we put in contracts, even how we negotiate, even, these new systems that we've had to implement, they're all different because the problems that we have been presented with come with every shift in the market. We've had like 4 shifts in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So these problems either come and go, get worse, and so right now the problem is getting worse. So what we've done is create a process and really sat down and intentionally thought through this entire course, because the actual process was already being implemented in our business. So it wasn't like that it just, appeared out of nowhere, but it really was then taking that daily activities and putting that in a course that was easily understood by someone who didn't have that person going, to do the activity with them, right? So how did we really organize that part of it, which is what we're in the process of finalizing our courses and everything on the seller ecosystem. We finalized other courses already and put them into a membership site. So the membership sites where you can access it if we give you access, you have a login and everything, and all of these courses are identified there. This module comes available, that module comes available, so on and so forth. And the difficulty was not really necessarily finding out what went first, because once you're in the industry this long and mentored and taught as many agents as we have, you already know what their first problems are, when they first become an agent, or when they decide, hey, I'm ready to build a team. We all know what those problems were, and we were both team leaders. So with that, it just kind of like, we went through what was our first struggles and how could we have eliminated or really minimized those struggles by doing something that we learned how to do later on as being an agent, or later on as a team leader, or later on as a broker.
Interesting you said that about COVID, because I was thinking, it seems that COVID kind of changed the way that we approach education, right? Because before we had very traditional means of learning, and then with COVID there was kind of a shift online, and then people started creating courses and stuff like that a lot more. For people watching, that are maybe considering it themselves, what would your suggestions be as far as like just getting the process going?
Get a coach.
Get a coach.
Absolutely. Number one, get a coach, and then go through the books that we've gone through. They really help to identify staying focused, because when you're starting a new project, it can be very daunting. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of things to accomplish. Even though we can make a list, and that list starts growing and growing and growing and growing. How many things do you have to do today? Oh, just a few. So for us, we really got the coach. That was number one. We followed the steps the coach told us to follow. 100%.
That was number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Number 3 was really, we stayed intentional consistently every single day. I think we set up times. Like, we did several masterminds as well, where we said, only for these 4 days, I'm going to do just this. And we did nothing else. Like, we didn't answer our phones. We didn't, let anything interrupt us. We said, this is narrow focus time. I don't care how exhausted I am. I don't care how hungry I am. I don't care anything. And we just mastermind through it. So we've done those a couple times. This past weekend was one of them. And we just, it was the deadline. We put a deadline and we said, we don't normally work on these certain days and on this project like this, but let's just power through it. And we did. And we accomplished the task, even though we were like, oh, can I have to do any more right now, right? Because we had just been doing it for so many hours. But I think that was what we needed to really push us through, was just, getting those individual times every single day to be consistent, and then just setting aside time just to power through. Because you already know it's just the input, right? You already know you got to record these videos. It's just scripting them out. You already know you got to, put things in the membership site. It's actually uploading the videos.
Did you take inspiration from anybody specifically whenever you were putting this together?
I would just have to say our coach,
And each other.
And each other. Honestly, the last thing that we've really done is become, right, the type of people that would stick to the plan, that would, develop the discipline, that would develop the leader, that would execute the leadership responsibilities. So that would be the last thing that we really did, was become the people that it takes in order to follow the process, in order to execute the plan, in order to do the things on that process that is outside of your realm of comfortability,
What were some stumbling blocks that you learned along the way that you would warn, people doing this not to do?
Good question.
Taking on too many projects.
Yeah, I would say someone who's got more than 7 goals for a year is probably not fine-tuning enough. I would say we've narrowed down our goals to 3 for the last 8 months of this year in 2022. We've narrowed it down to specifically 3 goals that we are achieving and that we are, molding and shaping and shifting ourselves to become in order to achieve these goals. That is our primary focus. Anything else outside of that, professionally at least, is
over there.
Yeah.
Next. I don't want you.
Simplicity. So stay simple. You're going to get really creative, and you're going to become inspired, and you're going to become ambitious, and you're going to want to do all these cool things. And I would highly suggest chop it down to the most integral things that keep one foot in front of the other. What are the 3 things that keep you taking one step? And then what are the 3 things that'll make you take another step?
When you're doing this, you're almost kind of becoming like mentors, right? To other people. Is that very fulfilling to you? Is that something you sought out? Was that kind of mentorship role in others?
I would say yes. However, in the past, I've probably adopted too many limiting beliefs and anchors that, hold me back. But, I'm just going to say this to get it out. I know. I'm just going to say this to get it out. Because I've always been a forward and future thinker. You're a futuristic person. And I've always been the person that's been outside of the box in my thinking. And the people, unfortunately, that I was around were not feeling my outside of the box thinking. They weren't there yet. They had not evolved yet. What I was saying was pure, like another language. It was a weird language to them. And so I adopted this limiting belief that, in the past, that people don't want to listen to me. My advice, I don't have whatever. Because I don't even want to say that anymore because it's not true. But I adopted this limiting belief around people taking my advice and applying it to their lives. And so I'm still working through that personally.
I think a lot of women have that though, and I think that, acknowledging it is, powerful in a way because then you can speak to other people, right? And so I think, just like talking about it a little bit can be helpful.
Yeah. So a lot like with Chase, I am correcting Chase's negative thinking. He'll say, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. And I'm like, Chase, with every pitch, you get better and better. With every catch, you get more and more accurate. And so it is rewiring the brain to believe something more, what is the word? Positive capability is creating more capabilities in you. So that is what I am working on, is my capability and mentorship. It is that I have a story worth listening to. I have a story worth listening to.
With that, it's just really finding that person that can help you, because mentors should always have a mentor. A coach should always have a coach. If they're not growing, so if I'm not growing, if Cynthia's not growing, we don't deserve to be helping someone else grow. And that's where you'll have seasons, you'll have skill sets, you'll have moments where you really need to accept the fact that even though I'm putting in these 2 hours a day, even though I'm putting in these 8 hours a day, every single day, I don't see anything coming out of it. What do I need to do to change myself or see in myself to get the outcome that I'm looking for? And that's what we constantly do for each other.
Powerful.
So well said. We are releasing a course called How to Create a Seller Ecosystem. And it is all about getting more listings. especially in the market that's post-COVID. So it is a innovative, it's a different concept of seller to seller selling rather than seller to buyer selling. So it's a totally different thing. It is a very innovative concept, and it is solving the problem of creating more or less reluctant sellers. So it's solving the problem that a lot of sellers are having right now in today's market. And so it's creating an opportunity for them to make the move, even though certain things, can be frustrating. So we're getting rid of the frustrations and on both the agent and the homeowner. And so that's coming to you June 1. Is there anything that you want to say?
Absolutely. So the course is an innovative concept. We've always, come out with innovative concepts that's really empowered our agents and empowered our business, right? So this is one that we've been using for the past 6 months that has just absolutely changed the outcome of all of our sellers and our agents as a whole. And we're so excited about our launch date. So we are going to launch the course starting June 1st. And that way you guys can work through it and just get tons of listings this summer and just be ready to rock and roll for the rest of the year. We are going to have more information that comes out soon, so stay tuned for that. And then on our website and stuff, we'll put that once the launch is sooner, a little bit closer to the launch, we'll absolutely release the website and the costs and everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is out. What's next?
Oh, what's next? One of our 1 million projects.
I don't know. It's probably going to be, just redoing the same challenge over and over again. So what's next is allowing people across the world
Yes.
to be able to find this innovative concept.
Well, it was great hearing about it. I'm so excited to see it come out, and yeah, it's exciting.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for always being here with us. I always enjoy it when she's in front of the camera, rather than directing us. And so you always bring so much value and just so much creativity and so much relevancy to everything that we push out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.